Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we are revisiting Tainted Grail. We haven't played this in quite a while. You guys might remember I played, I think, 3 episodes back when it was pre-early access. I got an early copy of it, but it was when it first came out in early access. It's still in early access, but they've had a big update. A big update. So big they even broke the campaign teaser, which I think is really funny. But that's coming back apparently. The campaign teaser, that's not the big bit that's sort of testing stuff out. That's just like, here, have some flavour and have a bit of a hint as to what the full game might be. But Conquest mode is a sort of roguelike mode, which I really adore. I've put, I think, about 20 hours into this game, despite the fact I only did 3 like 45-minute episodes on the channel. I've played this a lot in my own time. So let's get into it. For those who have never seen it before, it's a deck building roguelike in a sort of twisted Arthurian legend. Like a really twisted, like it's sinisterly twisted. It's beautiful. So, new run. So, first off, character creation. This has been completely changed over the last time. So, straight away, quite cool. I'm going to call my character Jan Jan. I don't know why I've started calling all my characters that. It's just, I don't know. It's a bit of a giggle. And let's go with, Ooh, what hair do we like? Yeah, I gotta say, I love the big hair. I love tool hair. What can I say? Facial hair, can't. Oh, disappointing. Anyway, hair color. Immediately when I go red with that haircut, I think, vampire. But whatever, it's a dark, twisted Avalonian nightmare, so it all works. Tattoos. Yeah, that's nice, subtle. That one's subtle. I'll go with that one. And then gear customization we don't have yet, but there's a lot of it, actually. There's quite a lot of cosmetic stuff that's been added to the game. So anyway, that should do it. Do I want to start with the tutorial? Yes, I do, because there's some story stuff that I want to show you. It's cool. I like it.
King Arthur promised us safety on these shores. Instead, we found stormy seas, rocks like shark teeth, and treacherous mists. Those few who managed to land will be set by hunger, cold, and nightmares born of weirdness. My people settled around a gnarled old statue. Though we did not understand its origin or purpose, the enemy seemed to avoid it. That was good enough. For a time. In the end, the winds of weirdness only grew stronger, and the statue failed to protect the settlement. There was fear, despair, and then nothingness, as reality melted around us.
It seems like you've been here before, on one of these ships. Your captain, though seasoned, failed to remember that in the weirdness, sharp rocks move just as easily as sea waves. However, as you peer upon the wrecks, you see the wreckage of the fleet's flagship lodged between 2 rocks far off the coast. The flagship? Now this doesn't make sense. You never even got close to King Arthur's vessel.
Okay, so we can move with WASD, we can rotate using right mouse, and we can zoom in and out with the scroll wheel. So there we go, or you can left click to move about. One thing that has changed, they've even moved the camera. The camera has changed in this release of the game, but actually I'm not a big fan of it. I find it's a bit too close to the character. So when you're sort of like here, which is a nice comfortable zoomed out spot so you can still see the paths and things, I think it's a bit too fast. That is one thing that I will say is something I hope they change a bit, just the angle of the camera, but the scenery has changed a lot. It's changed a heck of a lot, so that could be why. That could be why it's sort of making a bigger
litter the ground.
impression, I don't know.
Even more float in the stormy waters. Among the corpses, you notice someone dressed in expensive clothes. Probably a captain. Who, if not a captain, would have a clue as to what exactly happened here? As predicted, in the man's pocket you find a message from the king himself.
Well, that's handy.
It reveals that Arthur knew the dangers of landing here, yet he insisted to make the attempt. The document proves the conquest of Avalon is going worse than most of the people suspect, and that the king withholds vital information from his subjects.
Oh no. Well, that won't do. So, obviously, exclamation mark, a bit of a giveaway that we should talk to that guy, but I'm going to run off over here instead and attack this thing. Hello, Abomination. And so I did tell you that it was twisted, right? Combat is turn-based, and you always start first. Here's your energy meter, which tells you how many cards you can play. When you run out of energy, click end turn, or press T. And here is how much energy they cost. This is the enemy's intent for this turn. This particular one means the enemy will attack 3 times for a certain amount of damage. So, pretty straightforward so far, and that is honestly most of the game mechanics. That really is most of it. Everything else is explained by the cards. So let's go with small strikes. And, actually piercing strike first would have been nice, lower his armor. So, you can see the armor value is here. That's how much damage they're going to receive. You know, the sort of the modifier of how much damage they can receive. Because, yeah, you can be fighting multiple enemies. But still, just punching the thing a billion times is great. But seriously, this thing is so ugly and creepy. Like, what even is it? It's got like a bit of a Zoidberg mouth. They're just sort of like covered in barnacles and ugh, awful. And this is one of the tamer monsters. This is something I'd prefer to run into in this world. They're all pretty horrific creatures. Although I guess there are humans that arguably could be reasoned with, but pretty much everyone's insane in this game, so that's not a guarantee. So anyway, so they're dead. Good. Happy with that. Strong healing elixir. That's very, very good. This is your inventory. The space you have is unlimited, and you can always access it by pressing I. Whoops. Okay, that's quick slot, so you can use while you're running around without having to go into the inventory, and combat items you can only use in combat. And you can't swap things in and out during combat, so you've got to make sure that this is exactly the 4 items that you want while you're in combat. You can expand these, although I don't know how yet. I've never come across anything that lets you get more combat item slots. So remember to put items you want during combat here. Yeah, of course, because they're the combat items. Alright, so here we are again. So now I'm going to go talk to this lad. Although things have gone a bit squiffy. Oh no, this happened last time as well. For some reason doing that battle knocks the minimap out of sync. Like things just sort of lose the... I don't know, some of the coordinates shift. But hey, this is mega early access still, guys.
Good, good, good. Your spirit is intact. It still has the will to dominate over beings weaker than you. That brings us to the more problematic part, your body.
Oh, you know what I think it is, actually? I reckon I was supposed to talk to him, and he was going to go, oh, go fight that weird tentacle monster. But I've always gone and fought the big tentacle monster first. Yeah, I bet that's why it gets a bit out of sync. I reckon if I did it as I guess most players would do it, like, oh look, a guy with a giant exclamation mark, I should go talk to him. That probably functions. So hey, I'm finding bugs. Yay. So that brings us to the more problematic part, your body.
Look at your legs and hands, and they seem perfectly fine.
I'll say.
Oh no, that's just an illusion. I had to get you here somehow, didn't I? Imagine what you'd think about your condition if you appeared here out of nowhere and landed in pure darkness, and not a memory. Well, not yours, but as we've established, a ship is a ship.
I mean, this guy seems pretty chill. But, I mean, yeah, I don't want to judge him. I mean, you know, he can do what he wants. Like, just, you do you. I'm not going to body shame.
This, my friend, is not an afterlife. This is a total mess.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, go. We need to find you a proper vessel.
Alright then. So, currently we're just some random lost soul in a random husk that he's found. So, now, this is where we're going to find our body for the moment. Okay, so there's 3 sort of, I guess, factions. So we got Fallen Camelot. They're coming later in early access. We got the Children of Morrigan. Obsessed with freedom, they try to tear down every edifice of the Old World Order, and Moonring. These classes will be unlocked after the tutorial. So these seem to be the spellcasters, these are the ones who blat people, and these guys, I have no idea. But generally these are the sort of warrior types. So anyway, Children of Morrigan. So we can only pick the Weird Hunter right now, but I think she's actually my favourite class. I think it's my favourite anyway. So Weird Hunters have a deadly mark, leave a deadly mark with every hit they inflict on their enemies. When an enemy is marked 6 times, it becomes vulnerable, and damage dealt to vulnerable enemies is doubled. Also, a bunch of other fun little abilities they've got, which are really cool. So, right, base HP, 100 plus 10 with every level, so that is new. Usually with level ups, it didn't used to give you more health in the previous versions. Base damage, this also didn't used to rise with leveling up. So leveling up is even more important now. It used to be that your damage was dependent on what weapons you were carrying, and some various passives, I guess. But you tended to just get more cards when you leveled up, and you got more, like, random passive abilities. So, you know, things like every 10th card is free, or whatever, stuff like that. But anyway, Weird Hunters have a deadly, leave a deadly mark. Yeah, we read this. And ultimate ability, Weird Hunters charge their ultimate ability by landing hits on enemies. So, multi-hit attacks, very useful with her. Well, with them, you know, we're playing a female character, but it doesn't mean they're all female. They can call upon a beast of weirdness and deal massive amounts of damage to the enemy, depending on the number of charges they spend. So, it's all really fun. Also, the more charges you have, the more just base damage you're doing is really cool. So, yeah, the more you attack people, the just the best you get at attacking. It's lovely. Sort of like an escalation. It's good fun. So, we've got a body. Let's go chat to this guy again.
Well, it seems your soul isn't strong enough to be picky about its vessel yet. Don't worry, you'll grow.
You don't recognize your voice or the language you speak, but you feel you're finally able to say something.
Oh, good. So there are RPG elements, and there are a bunch of sort of not completely random events. It's random where you're going to bump into them, but there's a bunch of events and like characters or random buildings and all sorts you can sort of find that will lead to just a bunch of different choices depending on like various items you're carrying. You may have different items, you know, different options locked off or available to you, all kinds of nonsense. And yeah, it tells some interesting little small stories while in a random roguelike thing, which I love. I love that kind of thing, because you don't know how the story will unfold, because you don't know what sort of chunks of story you'll bump into, which I really like in games like this. So you don't recognize your voice, the language you speak, but you're able to say something. What's happening?
Perfect. You can speak, and yes, these are really great questions. No easy answers, though. Sorry to disappoint.
Fam.
The creature sighs.
Listen, it's been 4 years since humans landed on these shores. 4 years of strife, fear, and hunger. At least that's what you tell yourselves. And 4 years of war you were destined to lose, because even the mightiest human wizards are no match for the Avalonians.
Seeing your expression, it makes an impatient grimace, stepping from one foot to the other.
I know your tribe was peaceful and so on, but humans are not. The war you brought here? Well, it wasn't exactly going in your favor. But then that wizard, Merlin? Well, he had an idea. Your king, Arthur, he had another brilliant idea.
Interesting. So we know that Merlin and Arthur are, you know, big players here, and they came here and thought themselves clever.
Both stubborn mules, both playing with powers they didn't understand and were never meant to understand.
The creature
Clearly.
rolls its eyes.
And so we're here, in this corrupted reality, strung together with the last strand of somebody's goodwill. Now, will you please see if your soul's adjusted properly with the body you possessed a moment ago?
In other words, go fight something. Learn about the new abilities. So, here's an Abomination. Different one. Different Abomination. Everything here is an Abomination. You know, I mean, look at him. Oh, yeah, that's actually an Abomination. So, this is the action queue. It shows the order of enemies' attacks. Here are your passive abilities. Each class has a starting one, and you'll get more when you level up. Weird Hunter's passive skill counts the hits you land on an enemy. After landing 6 hits on a single enemy, they will become vulnerable. This will significantly boost your damage against them. Also, this is our ultimate down here, which I think it'll explain. But anyway, so fun thing, this guy, these abominations, the little squid, the little barnacle Zoidbergs, they attack everybody, which is really fun. So deal damage to multiple targets. They'll attack literally everyone. Also, the attack order is in the top left, but also the attack order is right here as well. It always attacks from the top left down. Okay, so always going to be in this order. So if you're behind your player, it's going to be left to right. Every single time. That's always the order it goes in. So this isn't completely necessary. Not really, but it makes me wonder if this is just them preempting for more sort of randomized positioning of enemies, because there's always just a big line. They don't need to just be stood in a line. You know, they could even have ranks where you have to kill the ones in the front to take the ones in the back. There's a lot they can still do with this kind of system that, well, as the game evolves, who knows? Who knows? But it would be interesting to have a back row and a front row, I think. I think that could be really interesting. But we'll see. We'll see. So, first off, I think we're just going to try and kill this guy as quickly as possible. He will be killing his friends, but his friends aren't a big threat to us right now. Although, infected human is a problem. Something's not right with him. So he's preparing for a special attack. I'm going to leave him alive, because I want you guys to see what his special attack is. It's... You know what? Also, we're not doing that much damage yet, so I will get piercing strikes on him. I wasted an attack on him, but it's a tutorial. I just want to rush through it. So here you can find the enemy's status icons. Since you've played a card that debuffs the enemy, reducing their armor in this case, you can see that something appeared here. Here, you'll find the enemy's armor meter. The damage you deal to enemies can either be reduced or increased, depending on the number you see here. For example, if you see 30 here, it means attacks will deal 30% less damage. However, minus 30 means they will be increased by 30%. So, all good. Do I hit him again with that? Yeah, go on. I've still got time to kill him. So, this, every time you attack, this will start ticking up. Small strikes is a great one for filling it up, because you attack 3 times. So this goes up, this meter goes up by 3. Their ultimate meter. Because right now, I'm doing 10% additional damage, because I have a charge. So, yay. Right, so, you got all your health back because of this little guy, but I can lower his armor even more, so now I'm doing double damage to him, which is rather nice. That's pretty good. Okay, it's not brilliant, but it's not terrible. Yeah, maybe I should just focus on small strikes and see if I can attack everything. So this guy will trigger in a second, which I'm happy about. So let's go small strikes. Let's go small strikes again. Here's your ultimate ability in Weird Warrior's case. Weird Warrior's Weird Hunter, wait. I don't know, whatever, her case. Every hit you make grants you a charge. The more charges you accumulate, the more powerful special attack you can launch by clicking on the icon. And so now if we hover over, current damage is between 7 and 10. That's terrible. It's not very high yet. We'll get it higher though, so it's all good. We're going to continue to attack this guy. And here we go. Look at that. Infected human. Turns out there's a flesh-eating crab larva inside him. Isn't that fun? Isn't that jolly? So so that's a thing. So I'm going to go small strikes again, just to help kick this up a notch. So now the damage has gone to 15 to 25, because we're between the 11 and 20 marks. That's really nice. So it's going up. It's going up. So this can do hundreds of damage to people if you sort of keep babysitting it. It's a wonderful ability. Okay, go rid of the Abomination, but this thing swings pretty hard. 20 to 30 damage. Let's see if we get lucky and kill him. Because all this guy's doing is healing, so... couldn't quite. Ah, well, could have avoided that damage. If only we'd hit him a little better, but that's okay. So, rewards. Got some experience, which I think means we're going to level up. Fingers crossed. No, I haven't leveled up yet. Gutted. There's a new level up screen and everything. Like, they've basically changed everything in this game. It's kind of ridiculous. I love it. Oh, and the terrain as well is way more varied. The fact they have elevation and things. I mean, the tutorial area is hand sculpted, but, you know, things have changed. So, now there's this big lad. Seems a bit funny, doesn't he? So, what I'm going to want to do... Oh, no, we've got all our health back. Oh, thanks. Thanks, game. I didn't realize it healed you after every battle. I guess it just wants to make sure you're set up properly for every tutorial, you know, section. Okay, so now we're fighting a big monster. So that guy hits like a truck, and we can't avoid it. We have no blocking. abilities. This guy's also going to hit us. 1500 health on him, and 500 for this Lost Wanderer. So, as you can see, things are a little bit iffy. Things aren't great here. Also, seriously, look at this guy. So cool. Love him. Okay. Ooh, I don't know now. I don't know. I think I'll just attack randomly and start charging up our special meter. Come on, you. So we are putting up the combo. So remember, that gets a 6. They'll be more vulnerable. They'll do more damage, which is rather nice. So that hurt like hell, as did that. So this is a nice demonstration of, hey, look how hurt you are. Remember to use potions. Which, yes, I will be doing that. So right click, use. Right. I guess I'll just keep putting up my meter, huh? Come here, you. So he's vulnerable now. Lovely. Ow. The enemy gained a new status. Statuses are various effects that modify character statistics and behavior. Hover over the status to check what it does. So if you hover over here, kill enemy is preparing a special attack. Kill him now to stop it. Next hit received by this enemy will instantly kill it. It's made it pretty easy for us because he's about to do 1 billion damage. I wish we had some sort of reflection ability so it would hit that guy, but we don't. I use small strikes, so that way there's a chance I only use 1/3 of this energy in killing him. There we go, we did 4 damage to him too. Wasn't that efficient? Yes, it was. I guess use piercing strikes and then small strikes on him. Cool. So we're still getting a damage up. So he's hitting us a lot. It's not ideal. We have no more healing to be had, so that's also a problem. I think we're just going to keep hitting him with the small strikes. Please die. Okay, more small strikes, I guess. We got no other options. Just keep smacking him. So here, we can suddenly do a big burst of damage. We can do 100 damage-ish, between 96 and 144, which is pretty good. But I think I might save it, because if we've got a couple of piercing strikes, we can lower his armor and we'll be able to do more. Otherwise, this will go back to 0 and our damage bonus will go down. Ah, here we go. So there we go. Now if I hover over it, we'll do 153 to 230. So big increase. Big old increase. Also, he is still vulnerable, so he's getting an extra 100% damage from getting hit. So, yeah, this is about as good as we can do. This is about as good as we can do. So 165 damage. But that's going to be the end of us. We put in a good effort. So that's a defeat.
Within the darkness, you hear a familiar voice.
Finally. Now we can start the cycle of proper rebirth.
A different voice appears out of nowhere, and its owner is nowhere to be seen.
Be gone.
That's, foreboding. Talking mannequins.
It is calm. Inhumanly calm.
Can I
Like a
invite
mannequin.
you to the table?
Oh, nope. Nope, just Skeletor.
You see a hooded figure waiting for you by the table. A chessboard sits upon it, the game in progress.
Or is it Doctor Doom? Questions. A lot of mysteries.
As you take the free chair, you realize the creature has no face. A white skull leers from the shadows of the hood, a human skeleton draped with robes.
I admit, I'm not used to showing up in person whenever people die. That's too much hassle, with adjusting my presence to your current imaginations and whatnot. But let's say that your case is special.
Goody. I'm dead? You're death? I think it's safe to assume he's death, because, I mean, look at him. Look at him. I'm dead?
Yes. And yes to that other question, too. You're technically dead, but there are certain things that prevent you from, let's say, being properly gone.
I like that it doesn't matter what you say. yes to both of those questions, and he knew you were going to ask the other one. Usually, it's sort of like illusion of choice, like how dare they, but in this case, it's actually good character building to be like, yeah, this guy knows, he knows everything. He knows what you're going to say. Certain things.
When weirdness took over your farmhold, we managed to save your soul. You don't exist in your physical realm anymore. But because of that, you can possess the bodies of heroes who weren't as lucky as you were. Lend their strength to help you during your quest.
My quest?
Death releases a sound like a sigh.
Recent events had consequences going beyond the intentions that sparked them.
Death moves a piece across the board.
One king commanded a great army in order to conquer an island.
Death moves a piece of a different color.
Another king pushed back with an army of his own.
Death moves another piece.
One wizard wanted to beat back powers he didn't understand.
Death checks the piece it just moved with another figure.
And the creatures of this island fought against them, using magic that wasn't meant to be used.
You realize the pieces have reached a stalemate.
And now we're stuck in this unfortunate predicament, because time, as you know it, is irreversibly corrupted.
I mean, that's never a good thing, is it? I use time all the time. In fact, just the phrase all the time means that it's quite important. Time got corrupted?
The past and the future are happening at the same time.
Huh.
All that you see is an echo of things that already happened or eventually will. Presented without inherent sense, without purpose, without any logic.
You see 4 figures on the board changing shapes into forms of beasts, and a moment later they dissolve into dust.
You must slay the Guardians, and keep slaying them until you reach the source, conjuring them out of the weirdness. Their deaths will make you stronger.
Alright.
Each time you slay the 4 Guardians, you will dive deeper into corruption. This will lead you to your destination.
Death conjures another piece on the board.
You must ensure that the corruption doesn't spread further, or even better, is beaten back. You must discover its source and free the pieces of this world's history from its power.
So, beautiful setup for a roguelike, basically, or like a roguelite, or whatever you want to call it. I guess it's more roguelike than roguelite, but I mean, who even knows the difference anymore? I think it's a beautiful setup for it. It's just like, yeah, there's going to be repetition, but slowly beat back, you know, the force that's messing up time and whatever, you know. It's a great setup for that. And it's rare that there's like a decent canon way for that. Sometimes there is, you know, but rarely in games. It's usually just expected, like, oh yeah, it's your, you know, it's just another go. And you keep stuff from before for reasons that are arbitrary, but,
now
you know.
Go. We don't have much time left.
Alright then. Okay, so this, where we are right now, is, wow, being awfully slow right now. Oh, this was running fine when I wasn't recording. Although, actually, it's getting smooth again. Okay.
It's a mystery why these stones light up and banish the weirdness when people walk by. Many believe Merlin himself invented the runes carved into them. There's also a darker rumor that they were left by the Fore-dwellers to lure humans into their domain, like moths to the flame.
Yay. So, if you carve your name into this milestone, it's going to cost us a health, but This is basically a checkpoint that we can fast travel to, essentially. So that'll help us out. And also, there's some random lost soul here. And see, it's around this time you realise that the camera, like, you want to be able to see around you nicely, but, well, you can't. So, oh, and I am skipping frames while recording this. Okay, yeah, this effect, I think, is quite GPU intensive. I'm going to change some settings and get back to you. Remember, guys, super early access. Brilliant. Okay, I'll put a bunch of the setting down, and it's much better. What's really annoying, though, is looking at this direction, everything is silky, silky, silky smooth, and then every time I look towards, this is the weirdness, by the way, this weird effect, this is the weirdness. It's sort of like a fog of war, but crazy! So, this thing is, yeah, problematic, graphically, and in the lore of the game, it is a problem. It's what's causing everything to go insane, or possibly a byproduct of insanity? I mean, who really knows at this point? A lot of stuff is vague in this, but basically, if you go into the weirdness, bad things happen. This huge men here is trying to hold that back. That's this thing's job, this big old spooky statue. So yeah, when you have to rely on something this spooky, then yeah, you know something's not quite right, huh? Anyway, let's talk to this lad, shall we?
Where your hometown once was, a lone man sits among the remains. His thick, unfamiliar accent makes him hard to understand.
So yes, sits among the remains, he doesn't notice you, only when you walk right up to him, he turns his blank stare towards you. His thick, unfamiliar accent makes him hard to understand.
It's not my farmhold, is it? I'm from up north, the land of fog. But this mist, it was all wrong. Have you seen the others? They were right next to me. I don't know what happened.
At least that's one thing you have in common.
What's the last thing you remember?
A dream. At least I thought it was a dream. A creature like a goat told me I'd wake up in a strange place. And there I'd find someone in need of my help.
Well, we met that guy. We've met him before.
The man looks at you for a moment.
I guess that would be you, wouldn't it? There's something about you. Something I can't quite describe.
Oh, you flirt. What are you planning to do?
I've already made some preparations. Settled in one of the tents here. Currently, I can't offer you much, though. This place is different. But you? This path leads out of the village. I've seen an enormous creature out there. A golem of stone. The evil energy it emits is beyond anything I've ever felt. I'd say getting rid of that beast should be a good start.
Alright then. So, we have a beast to get rid of. I just realised things are still a bit squiffy. Things are a bit squiffy on the recording side. So, sorry, guys. Sorry. So if we want to talk to that guy again, we can go to his little campsite, and we can heal ourselves, but we can only do this once. We can only do this once.
Lay your head here, and don't worry. But remember, this works only one time.
As you prepare to rest, you can't help but think there might be a connection between the stranger's words and his blank, dead stare. Why can I only rest once? Because this place is cursed or haunted. It's impossible to properly rest here unless you find a way to push the curse back. So, I'm not going to rest, obviously. Because we can only do it once. We have full health. Why would we do it? Oh, we don't have full health. We've lost 1 health. Because we pleased a stone or something. I'm unsure. So, we can also forget skills here. We can buy healing mixtures here, which are useful for healing. I know. Or we could change gold for weird stone. Weird stone is something that we will want later on, but right now, well, it's not worth the money because we need to stay alive. Staying alive is the best way to get more wordstone. So, we're not going to bother doing that. Right, so now, healing mixtures. Here's all I have. So, what's interesting is this gets more expensive the more you do it, which is an interesting way to balance it, and sort of gate the amount of healing you can get. Similar to like Dark Souls has Estus flasks, we've got a guy who keeps charging us more and more and more for healing. So, I mean, it's supply and demand, I suppose. So, price will increase ×2 for each one you buy, which is kind of ridiculous, but the price resets on the next run. So these are rubbish potions. They are rubbish, but we will be able to upgrade how decent the potions are later. But for now, I think it's good that we get a few. So we're going to get 3. That's all our money, basically. And I'm going to run in here with without a word candle, basically. A weird candle will get rid of the weirdness. We're just going to run in. We're just going to run in. So things are getting weird. And hopefully recording correctly. It seems when I'm zoomed in, things are better, so I'll have to stay zoomed in like this. So you can see there's some weird figures in here. Oh, big stone golem in the back there. Legendary encounter. It says in tiny, tiny writing, if you can see it. So that's what we need to kill. That's what we need to kill. You'll also notice the minimap, while we're in it, without a weird candle lighting the way, it doesn't fill in the minimap. So this whole area is a mystery to us. We won't know the places we've been. We won't remember it, which I think is really a really cool touch. So there's plenty of figures here. I guess I'll run this way. Okay, so fighting weirdness. So if you look down here, weirdness. It increases incoming damage by 50%. So suddenly, it is more risky. Alright, so weird candles are useful because they will negate that debuff. And they'll help you fill in the minimap, and you'll be able to actually see what you're about to encounter. So there's a lot of reasons to light your path. But this is the first combat, so I don't care about running in and being an idiot, okay? I'm cool with dying because we've got nothing to lose, right? We'll just restart the run again if we die, so it doesn't matter. Same attitude I had when we recorded those first 3 episodes a few months ago. So anyway, let's attack. So start filling this up a bit. They will attack, which is annoying. We didn't get any block cards, which we do actually have now, by the way. So, a little bit disappointing. Also, he's going to do special attack. Do I want to kill him or the Crazed Witch? They're both kind of important to kill. Let's attack the Crazed Witch some more. Cool. Ow. See, there we go. Here's all the blocks. So, another big difference, by the way. Another big difference. These cards have changed since the previous build, and they're animated. They're slightly animated. They look really cool. I really love when they get sort of like the mild illustrations on, mild animations on illustrations. It's a beautiful style. I really like it. It's sort of like some sort of motion comic book. I don't know. It's just, it's beautiful, and it's a really nice touch. So, really good to see that they're elevating even aspects of the game that were actually, like, fine. You know, there was no reason to animate these cards, but it adds a lot of flavour to it, you know, which I really enjoy. Anyway, so we've got stance cards, which are usually block and other things, and we've got our attack cards. So, and there are other sorts as well, which will have slightly different effects depending on what the base of the card is, whether it's attack or stance or neutral or legendary. There's a bunch of different things we can grab. So I don't know what she's going to do, but I think we should just keep hitting her, frankly. Also, we've got a bunch of blocks when there's nothing to block. Typical, isn't it? So I can't kill her. So we're going to go ahead and do that. It means doing less damage overall, but if we can stop her doing whatever nonsense she was about to, I mean, that's a good thing. So, one more turn, and this guy's going to turn into a horrible bunch of slug monsters. Flesh-eating slug boys. Immune to stun. That's very annoying, because I saw stun and thought, oh, I could stun him. That would be... No, apparently not. So that's annoying. So, intent is unknown. It actually doesn't matter what we do at this point. I'll hit him with stun anyway, because... Yeah, there we go. He's turned into a thing. But we can block it all, because he only can attack once, and block always blocks one attack. Oh, it's always the first attack you take too, by the way. So, so if you need to block sort of the guy that is one in from the left, and the one on the left is going to attack as well, then you need to get rid of him, so you can block the other one. So there's, you know... Or use 2 block cards, I guess, but yeah. It's important to know. Luckily, though, this thing isn't much of a threat. So we've got some Weirdstone, and so Weirdstone, you get as a reward for every combat, but usually we'd have only got 1, or maybe 2 if we were lucky. I think we would have just got 1 though. But if you're fighting in the weirdness, you get more Weirdstone, and Weirdstone is a sort of it's the sort of most important resource for improving your odds with each run, because this lets you do permanent upgrades to stuff in the game, and so Weirdstone is very important. So running around in the weirdness this early on, while things are still fairly easy, yeah, it kind of works. So here, disable all forms of healing on a chosen target. That's quite cool. So Shard of Morgana's Mirror. So we'll take that. This is ours now. Cool. And this is new with this patch. So in previous versions of the game, you would loot armor and weapons. Now you don't. Now you don't equip armor and weapons. Now it's all done with Runestones. That's the whole equipment system, is runes now. Which I like and dislike, I'm afraid to say. I think it's a great addition, but it's sad to see something else go, because now the armors and weapons seem to have been demoted to cosmetic changes for characters, which in a way I like. In a way I do like that, but also I think it's a bit of a shame, because it's more ways to change how your character might play. But I guess this is better for balance, to only have one system that augments how you fight and things. So yeah, so we'll take these and we'll soon see how to equip them in their own little what's-a-majigger. So this is our level up screen, which has changed. It actually tells us what cards we have currently. That didn't used to be the case. It used to just show us the cards that we'd grab. Now it's got this new UI, which I like and dislike. I think I preferred the sort of like, boom, here's the cards. It made those cards feel more important somehow. But this, yeah, it's more functional. So fair enough. You know, it's nice in a strategy game to know what the hell's going on. So fair enough. So this will cost us 3 energy, but we hit for 550% damage, and it cleaves. So cleave is really good because it does 20% damage to all other enemies. So hitting for 550% damage, and we're doing 20% of that, then we're hitting everyone for more than we would, you know, for more than just a normal attack on each of the others as well. So that's sort of insane, but rapid attack I think is too important for us to pass up, because it has so many uses, this, because deals 6 hits for 25% damage, so it does far less damage than Skullcracker does. Far less damage. Still costs 2 energy as well, so it's still a bit expensive, but it attacks 6 times to random enemies, and each hit reduces their armor by 3. So hitting just anything 6 times is great, because that means 6 more of our charges for our ultimate. That's a big deal. That is a very big deal. It's really good to have. And if you attack the same guy 6 times, then you're lowering their armor quite a bit. So even if you're just attacking the one guy, you're going to be bolstering your own just base damage thanks to upping your ultimate meter. But yeah, also you're lowering their armor, which lasts until the end of combat, and most armor debuffs don't last until the end of combat, so this is brilliant. I love rapid attack. I think it's a great utility pick. Skullcracker I think is far more impressive, and you know, we could do some terrible things with it, but usually if it costs 3 energy, that's going to be all you're going to do that turn, and so it means if we do this, we're not blocking, right? So a lot of the time we're going to have to pass this up, just because we're not going to be able to kill everything on screen with this one attack, even though it does do a lot of damage. So a lot of the time we're wiser not to use it. So rapid attack I think is just a cleverer, smarter, better utility thing to use, especially in a prolonged engagement. Lowering their armor is going to basically allow us to do more damage than Skullcracker would anyway. So we're going to take that. So, physical training, duplicate. Oh, so these are the passive abilities you get when you level up as well, which is really cool. I love these. They can really augment how things go. And it's a choice of 3 each time, and they're random each time. You never know what choices you're going to get. So, duplicate every 10th attack type card played, which is really handy. That is really handy. It's a free attack. I mean, that's a big deal. So, duplicate is when you play a card, it then plays the card again, but for free. So, it's pretty cool. You have to be able to afford the card, that 10th card, though. So, you know. It's not like your 10th attack will be free, it's that your 10th attack will be repeated. So, Looter, gain 100% more wealth from combat, or double the duration of weirdness repelling items. This is super useful. This really is super useful, but attacking more, I think, is the more fun way to go. And I'm happy to run around in the weirdness a bit, because we get more weirdstone out of it, even if we take more damage. You know, it's fun. It's exciting, I think. It's more exciting that way. So let's, I don't know where to go. There seems to be treasure here, so we'll get this treasure. But yeah, this is ruddy spooky, isn't it? Also, this is probably the worst way to play this, because of how this records in here. So I'm going to turn this on. So now we can see a bit better. Lovely. And we're going to run around, and we're going to attack this pack of enemies. Seems to be just a crazed lady. So we'll get rid of her too. Alright, here she is. Crazed Witch protects her allies via magical barrier. Well, no allies. So standard ground, we have 1 block, so you can attack once. Now we don't have to worry. Let's start stabbing. This isn't how you should make friends, by the way. Okay, good. And small strikes to put up our meter, and I'm just going to stun. So stun is a bit annoying in a way, because it delays the attack. So yes, it stops them doing what they're doing, but it means they can do that thing next turn. So a lot of the time, you're actually better to block than to stun, because the next time they might not be attacking. So stun is a bit of a last resort, I think, in a lot of cases. So let's... oh, rapid attack. And I got our meter go up. Isn't that lovely? Let's even finish her off with that. This meter doesn't carry on from fight to fight, but it does if you have a certain passive. There's a passive that lets you continue that on, which is really cool. Really handy. So I really like that. But anyway, Wordstone, we only got 2 this time. See? Because we're not running around in the weirdness, so you get less. Smoke Bomb, reduce enemies' damage by 30%. I mean, that seems pretty good. Quite like that. And we've got another level up. You get level ups a lot early on in the game. But it's good to just sort of... it's good to attack the boss last, just fight everything else. It puts you at more risk of, you know, not progressing further. But, like, yeah, you'll be better if you do make it. So you'll be in better sort of position to you know, to get as far as you can. So it's always best to pick off all the crap ones and grab as much loot as possible. Even if you're running low on weird stone or, like, weird candles or whatever. So anyway, Storm of Blades, 4 hits is pretty good. Stuns all enemies that have no or negative armor. That is pretty cool. That could stun quite a lot of people. And most enemies don't have armor. And we have some ways to shred it, so that does seem pretty good. But I love the aggression here of essentially hitting 4 times for the price of 2. I like that a lot. And it's random enemies, which I think is fun as well. You know, that's the sort of trade-off. But then if we're fighting just one guy and we need to do a bunch of damage, then yeah, we'll hit that guy. So I like that. I like that a lot. Double Pain isn't terrible either. That's pretty good, but mostly when you have a few things that cost 2, because you really want this to turn up when you also have something that costs 2, otherwise you're not gaining anything, right? So let's get Storm of Blades. Okay, so we found Futhark. Who are you? The sound of clattering rocks disturbs the ubiquitous silence. Approaching the end of the path, you come upon a child playing with some oddly shaped stones. A faint blue glow surrounds the child, but you can't determine the source of the light. As you approach, he looks at you with curiosity. "Good day, noble knight. Do you want to play with me?" He speaks with a child's voice. From Monty Python. But there's something unnerving about it. "I'm Futhark. I'm waiting here for my mother. She's been gone a while now." He scratches his head. "Or maybe she's going to leave soon?" He gestures towards his collection of glowing stones. "I have a lot of these stones, and while I wait, I play. Do you want to buy some stones so you can play while you wait too?" Buy runestones. Ooh. These are all really expensive. So no. No, I don't. Also, I realised we never equipped our runestones. Because I didn't get the tutorial for that. I think it's because I've already done that before. So, runestones. Press R, goes to runestones, or you press I to go to inventory and go across to runestones. We got all of the things here. There's even quests. Although, you know, they're quite obvious in this case. It's not like the campaign where you're running off all different directions and talking to a bunch of different people and whatever, collecting a bunch of quests. So, anyway. So there's a bunch of different stuff. So, runes, though. Cracked Kelk and Cracked Sigil. So this one is common. It's tier 1, which is important. So you will want to keep an eye on the tiers, because the higher the tier, the better it is. Also, the more of a certain tier you get, if you get 3 of the same tier, you can combine them, and the 3 of them will merge into one of the tier above. And that's how you upgrade them. So just collect more and more and more of them. So anyway, in a weapon slot, so weapon slots and armor slots. So in weapon slots, duplicate every 20th card played in one combat. That's quite cool. That's quite cool. 20 cards is quite a lot, though. If you put it in the armor slot, we heal 1% of our max HP after every combat one. Which isn't terrible, because a lot of the time you'll go through combat and not get hurt, so it's pretty good. Cracked Sigil, though, this is going to... each hit has a 2% chance to stun. That's quite cool. Or, if it's in the armor slot, we reflect 5% of damage received. Ideally, we're not getting hit. Ideally. So, I think better chance to stun. I think we'll do it that way around. We'll put that in the weapon and this one in the armor. Okay, we'll do that, because our plan is to not get hit. And that will be increased if we're stunning enemies more often. It's only 2%, which is basically nothing, but we are relying on a tactic that means attacking as often as we can. So, that's something. But runestones are fairly common. We will probably pick up a ton of them. And, yes, and we'll heal a bit after each combat, which is nice, because healing potions are at a premium. So, guys, we're going to leave it here. But I am going to play through a pretty solid run of this. We're going to try and complete at least one run, because actually one run should be fairly easy, because the way this game is laid out is it used to be that it was just sort of difficult from the offset, but now it's in tiers. So this is corruption level, I want to say 1, but it could actually be corruption level 0, this area. So it's on the lowest difficulty. This world is on the lowest difficulty. And the more times we complete it, the more difficult it gets. So I'm going to at least complete this one once, and we'll see how you guys are enjoying the series. But I enjoy it a lot. I'll be happy to play it in my spare time if you guys don't want to see more. But the Adventures of Jan Jan are good. I had to put shadow quality down, which is a real pity, because the popping in shadows is sad. I'll see if I can fiddle with the graphic settings a bit, because yeah, clearly this version is a little upset with being recorded. I didn't have this problem before, so I just jumped straight in without testing. But yeah, I think it's this weird. I think it's the weirdness. I think it's the weirdness effects of doing it. I think they're the ones that are causing problems. So I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do, guys. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, comment, like, subscribe, and be sure to stay tuned for the next episode. Should be a lot of fun. We've got this big boy to murder. Yeah, he's gonna be a tough one to take down. He's got a lot of health. He's a big boy. So anyway, guys, yeah, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, also, one last thing I forgot to mention. This game's on sale. I haven't seen the price of it yet, though. I haven't seen the price, but it's on sale for a week around this patch, so it's a good time to hop in. So yeah, go check it out. Cool. Anyway, see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.